Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be painting up a swordsman for the Empire of Man. I'm going to be painting him up in the Reilkand color scheme from Warhammer Total War. And the miniature here that you see is something I printed on my GKTwo printer, and it is from the Sunland line from Highland Miniatures. And we're going to start off with a neutral gray undercoat. You can use whatever neutral gray primer you have at hand. I like Stynol Res, and I like to apply with my airbrush for maximum control. And once that gray primer is dry, I went ahead and put a base coat down at Army Painter Warpaint Fanatic Company Gray. I also applied this to my airbrush. I just mixed on a little bit of the retarder and stabilizer that comes with the war paints. And once that base coat is dry, we're going to grab some speed paint, Blood Red from Army Painter, and we're going to box in the red split scheme you see. We'll do this arm here and the opposite leg. And as always with speed paint, load up your brush, get a good amount on there, and then push it around, dragging it towards edges. If you load up your brush and try and go towards an edge, you're going to spill over. Just make sure that you're loading it up there, see, pushing it in, pushing in all the crevices, and then moving it out towards the edges. And with the red drying, we're going to keep moving. We're going to grab some speed paint Aged Hide and just hit the face and hands. And with the flesh tones boxed in, we're going to move on to the metallics. We're going to start by grabbing Army Painter Speed Paint Broadsword Silver. We're going to start hitting all those silver areas. I actually really like the Speed Paint metallics. They are a great way to start any metallic area. They coat really well. One quick pass, they go over white with no problem at all. And then they're a nice darker color that you're able to kind of add texture to, as you'll see later on. And with the silvers base coated, we're going to grab our Speed Paint Satchel Brown, once again from Army Painter, and we are going to hit all the belt buckles, straps, the hat, the pistol casing, etc. And now back to the metallics. We're going to reach for Army Painter Speed Paint Golden Armor. It's a lovely warm gold color. Makes base coating gold super easy. Look how easy this goes on. One pass and you're done. Great way to start any gold. And with the gold done, we're going to move on to the scroll work on the breastplate. So I'm going to grab Speed Paint Warrior Skin and give it a quick base coat. In hindsight, I don't really like this color. I probably would have reached for Bony Matter instead, but we're going to go over it later anyway. And with that done, we're going to move on to some of the accessories. We're going to grab our Army Painter Fanatic Matte Black. We're going to hit the boots, the gambeson, and the eyes. And with that done, we're going to move onto company gray. I'm going to use that to do the whites of the eyes and touch up wherever the red might have overspilled a little bit before we do the washes. So when we're doing the eyes, as you can see, we already base coated black, and we're going to grab some, don't grab a pure white, grab a off-white or a gray. Get a nice tip and just poke just ever so slightly on the outsides and insides of the eye, just like that. And load up your brush, get a good tip again, and just do the other side. And with the eyes and white done, we'll move on to adding some definition to this model. We're going to grab our quick shade dark tone. We're going to use it straight out the pot and just apply it to all the metallic areas and on the brown areas as well, just to add a little bit more definition and separation. And now, once again, we're going to grab our quick shade dark tone, but we're going to cut it 1:2 with Army Painter Airbrush medium, which is essentially a flow aid. And we're going to apply that to all the white and red areas. And what the flow aid does is it helps it get down into the crevices with while leaving the kind of raised areas nice and smooth without any pooling. And it just adds a bit more definition to the model. And with all the washes done, we're going to move on to working on the face. We're going to start with the 5 o'clock shadow by grabbing Army Painter Uniform Gray mixed 1:2 with Jasper Skin. And we're going to take that and we're just going to paint over anywhere you want the beard to be. And here we are with the base coat of the 5 o'clock shadow, looking pretty fresh. We tidied up any of the black overflow. Now we're going to grab Army Painter Fanatic Tourmaline Skin. We're going to do the first highlights here. Now whenever I'm doing highlights on a face, I kind of think of the face as a vertical cylinder, and anything that is closest to us on the cylinder is going to get a little bit of the highlight from the center out. So here it's going to be like the nose, the brow, the top of the cheeks here, the upper lip, the bottom lip, and the chin, just like that. And now we're going to finish off the face by pushing those highlights even further using leopard stone skin from Army Painter once again. And same technique applies, just add a little bit on top of those previous highlights, including the bottom lip and the chin. And now with the face done and highlighted, we're going to grab some Speed Paint Goddess Glow and just add it to the bottom lip to add a little bit of color there. And with the face done, let's move on to finishing up the silver. I really like this technique. I've been experimenting with it since I've been using the speed paints. So basically, I just grabbed some of this shining silver from Army Painter Fanatic line, and I do some stippling here. And this adds a really nice texture to the breastplate. And I'm going to stipple more, obviously, where the light would hit it more. And then once it's done, we're going to go back and kind of glaze over it and bring that pattern kind of smooth that pattern out rather a little bit. So here we're just going to be doing the stippling, and then I'll move on later and show you how I do the glaze. And here's going to be that glaze. I just basically add a smidge of water to the highlight color I was working with, and I just go over those stippled areas. And as you can see, it kind of refines them, makes them look a lot more natural. And with the metallics done, let's move on to finishing the leathers. And of course for that, we're going to grab Fanatic Leather Brown and just do some edge highlighting and some stippling on the brown leather areas to give it a little bit of weathering and pop. And with that, the leathers are done. Let's move on to finishing the reds. I'm going to grab Army Painter Fanatic Legendary Red and just hit the edges of that red. Now keep this very refined, just hit the edges, otherwise you're going to risk desaturating that red and turning it more into a pink. And just as you see, I'm just hitting the very edges, keeping the nice deep speed paint vibrancy there. And don't worry if you feel like you've overdone it a bit too much, just go back and grab the blood red speed paint and you can add more vibrancy back to that color. And with the red done, we're going to grab some Fanatic Matte White, and we're going to do the same with the white parts to finish them up. I'm also going to use that white to go and kind of box out any of the red that may have spilled over that is kind of showing through. Now let's finish up that scroll work on the breastplate. I'm going to reach for a Fanatic Skeleton Bone and just kind of go over that speed paint that I used before. And that's why I said earlier I wasn't really happy with the color I used, but this will just go right over it, you won't even really see it. And now let's grab our matte black again, and we're going to do a little bit of scribbles on the scroll work to finish it off. Now if you want to add a little bit extra pizzazz, you can actually write some freehand, but since this is rank and file, we're going to just add some scribbles to the scroll work. And with that done, let's finish off the gold. We're going to grab Fanatic Shining Silver once again and just add some edge highlights to the gold to finish it off. And with that, the model's just about done. We're going to grab Fanatic Brigandine Brown and just box in the base, and then we'll add some weathering effects. And with the base drying, let's load up the airbrush with some pure quick shade dark tone, and we're going to hit the bottom of the legs a bit and the armor plates there, and mainly the red. The dark tone gives the dirty, weathered effect to the red pretty well, and then we'll move on to the strong tone in the next step for the whites. And with the dark tone dry, let's add some strong tone to the airbrush and just hit the white areas there to add some weathering, and we're going to do those front plates pretty heavily, as those would also have a bit of grime and dirt on them. And let all that quick shade really dry, and then grab some pure dark tone, and let's just add some depth to the base before we do some dry brushing. Once that dark tone is nice and dry, let's grab our Fanatic Leather Brown and give a quick dry brush to all those rocks. And don't be afraid to get a little bit on the boots, just to add a little bit of weathering, as those boots would definitely get muddy as he marches on. And to finish off the base, we're going to grab our Fanatic Urban Buff and give one final highlight to those rocks. And with that final dry brush, the model is pretty much done. We're going to grab some matte black and just do the edges here. Now, you can use whatever color you want to really finish off the edges of the base, but I always find that black gives it a very kind of display showpiece feel. Now, with all my miniatures, once it's completely done, we're going to take a VMS gloss varnish, which is a lovely hard coat to protect the paint that you have on there. I'm going to give that a good all-over solid coat and let that dry. And once you give that gloss varnish some time to dry, we're going to grab our satin varnish here and just hit the model and knock all that shine right off it, make it look lovely, while retaining a lot of those deep, rich colors. And now I'm just going to grab an Army Painter Tuft to add a little bit more detail to the base. And with that, he is finished and ready to lead his soldiers into battle against the enemies of the Empire. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. As always, like, subscribe, leave some comments down below. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. I love interacting with you guys. It really inspires me to keep doing more of these tutorials.